Ah, beleza.
Ouais.
Donc, Gustavo, il a ici...
Bientôt, on termine les jurys de sélection.
Should we wait for Gustavo or?
No, he said that we can start
Okay.
now and he will join
Ele
later.
tá falando uma coisa. Cadê?
Bom dia a todos, é um prazer tê-los aqui. Nós temos hoje uma palestra da École de Ponts Paris, né, do grupo Paritech, e a senhora Maria Cristine vai nos apresentar, vai nos falar sobre a escola. Ela é diretora da área de Relações Internacionais e de Cooperação da escola, né, com o setor produtivo. E também, junto conosco, nós temos o Joseph, que é um aluno da École de Ponts, que está fazendo duplo diploma aqui, e daqui a pouco deve chegar um ex-colega de vocês, o Gustavo, que fez poli, fez duplo diploma e hoje trabalha na École de Ponts. Okay? So, it's my pleasure to present you and to thank you for being here with us. Please, the students, so some of those are here. Unfortunately, not all, but it's also being broadcasted. So it will be very nice for us to have this opportunity to learn about École de Ponts. Merci.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado, professor Márcio, presidente da comissão. Muito obrigado, professor Rodolfo, coordenador do convênio. E muito obrigada, Mariana, responsável administrativa. Sou Maria Christine Berg, a diretora pelas Relações Internacionais e Parcerias Corporativas na École de Ponts Paritech. Infelizmente, meu português não é bom e proponho de fazer a apresentação em inglês. Então, vocês podem fazer perguntas em português e agradeço também Gustavo e Joseph de estar aqui para discutir com vocês. So, after those first words, I'd like to share a presentation about the École des Ponts Paritech at large, and then specifically on the double degree program between Escola Politecnica and École des Ponts. So École des Ponts is a public engineering school which is recognized for the excellence of its graduate studies. It is an old school founded in 1747, and it is recognized by its international outlook, especially the proportion of international students at school, where I will illustrate later. The pedagogy is a combination of fundamental and applied sciences, and the objective of the school is to transform research for business and society. The school, especially the engineering program, will lead you to executive careers as leaders for the digital and ecological transition. So as an example, so first, let's look at the history. So the school was founded by a king, Louis XV, in 1747. It was a very hands-on approach and very practical school. Research came later. The first laboratory was founded in 1851. And if I jump to one century ahead, the first double degree with international universities was in 1988. It was with Universitat Politècnica de Madrid. And then later we had many agreements. The agreement we have was signed in 2002, but the relationship with Escola Politecnica dates back to 1995, I think. 20 years ago, the school relocated East Paris to a kind of green campus, gathering universities, research centers, and institutes, all working for the sustainable development. And very recently, the school launched a European university with 8 other universities across Europe to think and to work on the role of engineer for tomorrow, the role of engineer for society, and the model of engineering education. If you look at a few famous figures, you will recognize Nobel Prizes. Henri Becquerel, Nobel Prize in physics. 1 century later, Jean Tirole, who is also Nobel Prize, but in economics. You will recognize Eugène Freycinet, the inventor of the pre-stress concrete. Louis Vicat, the inventor of concrete. So all those famous scientists are alumni of École des Ponts, and you will see their portraits everywhere in the premises of the École des Ponts. Now, famous alumni either in industry or at the government. Today, the French Prime Minister is Elisabeth Borne. She is an École des Ponts alumna. In industry, the CEO of Veolia, who is very active in Brazil too, is an alumnus from École des Ponts. The CEO of Eiffage, the CEO of Orange, which is a telecom company, are alumni. And also very younger and famous alumni who launch innovative solutions like Thibaut Duchemin. He launched a startup which is very successful to adapt natural language for non-speaking and non-hearing people. Alumni left remarkable works on the earth, such as Viaduc de Millau, which was designed by Michel Virlogeux, a very famous engineer architect. Gardens by the Bay in Singapore, also works from alumni. The Beijing Opera, and in Brazil, the inner structure of the Cristo Redentor is the work of Albert Caco, an École des Ponts engineer. Rankings. So rankings is very important, you know, when you choose your studies and you want to know where the university you work for is in the ranking. There are 2 major international rankings École des Ponts sets in. So the first one is the QS International Ranking. Very recently, we jumped 71 spots in 1 year, so we're very proud of it. We are very well ranked in terms of graduate employability, which is good for your future career. We are 6th in France, which is also a good ranking. The second one is the Times Higher Education ranking. Same, we jumped spots, 8 since last year. And in France, we are the first university below the size of 500. We will see later the size of the school. It is not the size of a university, but the international ranking recognizes our contribution, and they rank us well, regardless of our size. For the national rankings, depending the year, school is number 3, number 4, and we also have the quality certification. And Choose France is a special certification that applies to the welcome of international students, and we have the 3 stars, which is the maximum authorized by this label. International partnerships. Today we have 47 double degree worldwide, gathering 71 partner universities across the 4 continents. We have double degrees with universities in North America, like you can see, the MIT, Columbia University, Tufts University. In Europe, many intra-European relationships and double degree leveraged by this European university, which is strategic to École des Ponts. Partnerships and double degree also in China and Japan, and as you can see, strong partnerships and double degree in Brazil. In Africa, I mentioned it here, we do not have double degree, but we have lots of cooperation with university to design, create new attractive curricula in Africa for African people. In Brazil, so the collaboration is a long-standing cooperation. Today we have partnerships with the top universities like Escola Politecnica, the Universidade de São Paulo, Federal University of Minas Gerais, Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, ITA in São José dos Campos, and also IME, the Institute of Military Engineering in Rio de Janeiro. With IME, it's not a double degree, it is research cooperation at the moment. You know that Brazilian students represent the first international student body at the École des Ponts. This year we have 32 students enrolled in the engineering degree. And every year, this year in September, we will welcome 17 Brazilian students to start the new double degree curriculum. Alumni, antigos alumnos, who are active, work in Brazil, are around 250 now. Put a few pictures to show that the group is very active, and I encourage you to join the group. About the school then, governance and funding, just to illustrate how the school works. It reports to the Ministry of the Ecological Transition. Of course, it reports also to the Ministry of Higher Education and Research, but the main governing ministry is Ecological Transition. The governing body is composed by the board of directors with 24 seats. 8 seats are taken by industry representatives, means that industry also influence and has a leading voice at the governance level. We have a graduate school council and a scientific council. So for instance, our convenio, our agreement, is first examined by the graduate school council, and then it is proposed to the board of directors, and the board of directors approved the double degree. So our double degree has been screened out by all the governance bodies of the school prior to be implemented. The budget is around 47 million euros. A good thing to have in mind also is that it is half through the subsidies of the Ministry of the Ecological Transition, and half by industry. So industry contributes also a lot in the school funding. A few figures to figure out what the school is in terms of size and perimeter. Students are roughly 2,000. Half of them are enrolled in the engineering curriculum, the Diplôme d'ingénieur, or MSc in engineering. We have 130 in a master's program, 300 in advanced master's program. Advanced master's programs are professional postgraduate programs. 500 PhD candidates and postdocs, and also 200 students enrolled in business administration programs, because we have a little business school attached to the engineering school. 45% of the students are international students, representing 45 nationalities. Means that on the campus, you will sit next to 1 out of 2 is a non-French student. 33% students are female students at the moment, which is a good ratio, and the school encourages a lot the scientific careers to women, and we try to raise up this ratio. 1,200 instructors, so you might see that compared to the number of students, it's a very high ratio. Indeed, we have one professor or instructor for 2 students. So it means that instructors are very close to students. It's very easy to access professors. Interesting to understand also that that instructors are mainly representative from industry. They are business practitioners who have the expertise, and they hold current responsibilities at industry, so they are the top of the expertise. And the other parts are the faculty, research, people who also contribute to the education. But it's a bit different from here. Teaching is done in large part by representative of industry. We have 12 research centers, 7 laboratories of excellence, and 450 researchers, permanent scientists. We have 14 education and research chairs. Those chairs are all funded by industry, by industry that supports education, research, and more generally the school strategy. Also, it means also that industry are very much involved in the school life. And many publications, including foreign partners, 45% of the publications are co-signed with international partners. I will repeat again that the school is a school of the ecological transition, but it's very important because you will really live it in the school. You will really feel that everything is oriented to the ecological transition in the teaching and also in the activities. Our ministry was formerly the Ministry of Sustainable Development. Now it's renamed as the Ecological Transition Ministry. The school has this history of combining engineering and social science to provide effective and relevant technologies. The 12 research centers cover 11 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as defined by the United Nations. We have one European Research Institute together with the Institute Polytechnique of Paris, which is named Energy for Climate. This is also an important project. Développons, for instance, also as a student union shows its commitment to sustainable development, solidarity actions, inclusion as well for the society and the environment. I told you about the education and research chairs. 10 out of 14 chairs are committed to ecological transition. 3 in sustainable development, 2 in environment, and 5 in sustainable transport and mobility. A few examples of industries which are close to the school. You can recognize names like Alstom, Veolia, Vinci, Aegis also is very active here. All those companies are close to the school. They provide internship. They can provide sometimes scholarships for some of them. They support research. They support teaching. And they are also very high in the employment, the first employment rate. The first employer today is Vinci, the group Vinci, and then the French Railway, Veolia as well. So they are partners for all types of activities with the school as employers, research partners, and teaching partners. The double degree, or the degree of École des Ponts, will lead you to careers where? So to give you an idea, this is last year's employment survey. 28% students go to construction sector. Almost 20% go to IT, telecom. Then you have design and consulting sector, which is also big with 10%. And the financial sector, banks, insurance, are also very attractive as the first job, with 13%. Good thing to have in mind also is that 80% of students get a job offer before graduation. And the average salary is between 46,000 euros and 52,000 euros. Let's have a look on the organization of higher education in France. So I believe that you have already presentation of this structure by other schools, but just to remind that in France, the structure is 3, 5, 8 after the baccalaureate, the vestibular. So plus 3 is bachelor, plus 5 master, plus 8 PhD. The diplôme d'ingénieur is accessible for the national students after 2 or 3 years of very intensive scientific courses, which are accessed by between 5% and 7% of students after the secondary school. Then they apply to a very competitive exam. And when they access École des Ponts or one of the top engineering school, it's another 5% selection amongst the students enrolled in the scientific preparatory class. So it's very selective. First step 7%, second step 5%. National students take a 3-year curriculum. The first year is the last year of the bachelor cycle. It is in gray. The green part is the master cycle of the engineering degree. It corresponds to the department of study they choose after the first year. International students arrive at level 3. They join a cohort of 180 students, or 190 students now. They join this cohort during 2 years to access the diplôme d'ingénieur, MSc in engineering. This program leads either to industry or to research, means that the degree, the diplôme d'ingénieur, directly leads to a doctorate if you want to apply for a PhD, or it leads to industry if you want to go to industry first. Okay. I also put advanced master, which are post-masters, professional masters. It is not connected directly to your curriculum, but if you are interested in getting further in one domain, one function, you can take one of those. I will show rapidly the list of these masters. Academic departments. When you will apply to a department of studies. And students first are registered within a department of study. Oh, sorry. Okay. The school is organized in 6 departments of studies, plus 1 department of social sciences, okay, and 1 department of language, okay, which are compulsory, of course. The Department of Studies are composed by civil and structural engineering, which covers everything related to complex projects, site work organization, innovation on new materials and construction technologies. The Department of City, Environment, Transportation is the planification of complex urban systems and operation of urban services, transportation, water, energy. Mechanical engineering and material science covers research and design of new products and materials in the fields of energy or transportation. Industrial engineering is about innovation and supply chain and robotics as well. Economics, management, finance deals with financial engineering, financial financial projects, public-private partnerships. See, this is the first track, financial track, and the economist track, training economist engineers working in urban environments, transportation, construction, and economic regulation. The last one is the applied mathematics and computer science departments, covering modelization of complex systems, analysis of financial, industrial, and natural risk within big data. I will go later to the structure of the curriculum and show you how you can choose, and then how, when you are in this department, you can opt for one track or another. Rapidly, the other programs, we have international master's program. I show it because depending on the curriculum you will take, you can combine the engineering program and a master program. Yeah? So we have, for instance, a master in transport and sustainable development that you can combine with the curriculum city environment transportation. Master's program, all the others, in mathematics, in energy, in mechanical engineering, civil engineering, of course, material science and engineering, transportation, mobility, networks, environment, energy, transportation economics, and also quantitative economics. I repeat that the engineering curriculum is fully taught in French, whereas depending on the master's program, some of them are taught in English and the majority in French. So we'll see, as I said later, how you can combine the engineering curriculum with a one-year master. Those are all those executive master's programs which are offered to postgrad students or to professional. So it's not directly connected to your curriculum, but you will also meet those people on campus, and sometimes you have common courses with them. We have a full-time advanced program, advanced master's program, and part-time, for instance, in sustainable real estate and building, energy transition, one in smart cities engineering, one in smart mobility, the other one in supply chain. So this shows the commitment of the school on very new and innovative topic which correspond to the industry needs. PhD programs later for those who want to continue on a PhD. So the specificity of the PhD studies at École des Ponts is that it is international. The PhD candidates have an international mobility within their curriculum now, it's compulsory. Close links with industries, and also impact on public policy. Still, the school, as the School of Sustainable Development and Ecological Transition, make sure that also the PhD has a relation to its contribution and impact on public action. And the business school programs is one day you also want to go to that. I will also mention for students who are interested in non-degree exchange, two programs that are offered now in English. One is in applied mathematics, and the other is in green finance. Both programs are offered in autumn, European autumn, from September to February. The first one is accessible to bachelor senior students, and the other, green finance, is accessible to students who already hold the equivalent of a bachelor degree. Green finance is very interesting because it connects the engineering knowledge, the engineering part, civil engineering, for instance, with the public-private partnership funding and all the green finance components to make sure that the funding of infrastructures gathers the ESG objective and makes the full project sustainable. So this one is very popular. I see that Gustav will just join us. So as an alumnus, alumnus of the double degree. And researcher, he recently joined the École des Ponts to care for company relations and entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is very much encouraged in the school, even for international students. He just had a jury before this meeting to award prizes to the best entrepreneurial projects. So the idea is not that everyone will create a company. This is not a business school. But it is to encourage the spirit of entrepreneurship and to encourage to test an idea, to test, run, fail, etc., because this will be very useful all along your career. So we have very, very funny events like one night to launch startups and many other entrepreneurial opportunities. Research at the school is organized in 4 socio-economic challenges with more or less fit the Sustainable Development Goals. The first one is Industry of the Future. We'll see the organization of the research with the laboratory behind it. So Industry of the Future with the laboratory Navier, with which the students from the curriculum in civil engineering and also in mechanical engineering and materials work very closely. This laboratory covers everything related to eco-material, digital manufacturing, geomechanics. Behind the Industry of the Future, we also have the modelization of uncertainty, the digital simulation, also data processing, and 3D vision. Okay. The second one is about economy, practice, and society. It's more social science. We have 3 laboratories behind. The expertise behind it are cities of the future, for instance. It is also public policies topics, markets, governance, and climate change. The third one is covering city mobility system. So it relates everything on sustainable mobility, territorial dynamics, also urban waters, alternative resources, atmospheric environment, air quality, and so on. And the last one is about risk, management of risk, resources, and milieu. 3 laboratories work in this domain, in physics of atmosphere, for instance, in renewable energy. And all those 12 laboratories work and use our platform. So the platform is also a strategic equipment at the school for transferring research to industry and making the laboratories work in a more interdisciplinary approach. We have a platform, Fresnel, a multi-scale observation and modeling platform for resilient cities with a radar, dual band polarization weather radar. A building platform dealing with building systems and artificial intelligence, a robotic hall in large-scale additive manufacturing units, and MU, which is a platform related to urban mobility, modeling, and simulating traffic, for instance. You will also maybe use those platforms according to the track, the department you will follow. Equipment also for prototyping, testing, designing. We have a makerspace with all the equipment for 3D printing, laser cuts. We have also something which is very popular and also very active here in Brazil, the D School, School of Design Thinking, which is an approach for innovation and management. It is a user-centric approach to gather many various disciplines in order to prototype either a product or a service. Last year, for instance, a group of students designed a solution for a branch of Saint-Gobain here in Brazil in conjunction to the USP. So it was very interesting. A place you should know because you will spend much time in it is named La Source. La Source is a learning center, so basically it's a library, but it has been totally revamped with the design thinking approach, how to access information, how to occupy the room, and how to better work collectively in a place that favors concentration, but at the same time group work. There is a tree in the middle of the source. It's a real tree. It provides 250 seats, 200,000 documents, and it's open. I put here 71 hours per week, but I think it's more now. You have access to scientific information. You have access also to documentation, Presse des Ponts, all the books. The books which are very popular because even alumni use those books in their field, in their career. You can also have the chance to access the heritage. We have beautiful heritage with ancient maps, books, and manuscripts related to all the history of the engineers of École des Ponts. The campus itself. The campus is 20 minutes from Paris downtown, so it's very easy by direct train. Housing is provided on campus, very important, especially the first year you arrive. You'll be sure to have a room on campus and to fully participate to the student life. All the laboratories except 2 are also on campus. It means that at the same place you have teaching, research, housing, sport facilities, student unions, which makes the campus very, very lively. For international students, we have a special welcome desk which will help you before arrival and also at your arrival to facilitate all the administrative burdens and facilitate this part in order to give you more time and more possibility to interact with other students and not spend much time on administrative burdens. Two entities to know, very important. Alumni are 22,000 worldwide, a big group in Brazil. We saw that 250 alumni here. They are very active in 100 countries, and they will be very helpful in your career. As a student, you will be proposed a mentorship with an alumnus who will help you to navigate the French society or the French companies, very useful to get in contact with companies, to get an internship, for instance. Their support is very insightful. So they provide this mentoring for international students, and they provide support for career and other perspective. It's also very nice to keep relationship with with the alumni that will mentor you during your career. Sometimes a relationship take years and years after your studies. So it creates also long-standing relationships. The Fondation des Ponts is also someone to know because they provide scholarship for international students. So it's part of the scholarship portfolio that you will be proposed. They also provide awards, encouragements. I spoke about the awards for entrepreneurship as an example. So thanks to the alumni who are donors, the foundation is a big partner to the school. So now let's dig into the double degree. The double degree you will apply for. This is a double degree diplôme d'ingénieur MSc in engineering for international students. The structure is like this. The first cycle, the bachelor cycle, is done here. This is a graduation for you. At the end of the 7th semester, when you apply to École des Ponts, you have to choose one of the department of studies I earlier mentioned. civil and structural engineering, city environment transportation, mechanical, industrial, economics, or applied mathematics. All departments are open to you through our agreements. So traditionally and more consistently, students opt for civil and structural, city environment transportation, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, but the two others are also open to your application. Those are 2 semesters of academic courses. After those 2 semesters, you can take a short or a long internship. A short one is 3 months. A long one is 12 months in a row, or 2 times 6 months. The majority of the students, 85%, opt for the long internship because it's a very nice way for you to get experience. Internship in France or at French engineer school provides you very quickly high responsibilities and a very good exposure to companies and to potential recruiters. So it's a very, very popular and very interesting to opt for this long internship, as the majority of students do. Then you have one extra academic semester. You will take this semester from September to February. And you have the final project. The final project is to integrate all the knowledge and all the experience you have accumulated then, and this will end your curriculum at École des Ponts. After this, you come back here for the last academic semester of coursework, and you access the double degree. I put the proportion of international students now, 30%. And yes, keep in mind that the class are small classes, so it is a very human-sized organization with a close contact between professors and students. Coming back to the structure, I here put the structure of the double degree curriculum for Brazilian students. You have the fundamental course, 4 semesters, then 3 semesters of a professional course. Then you go to École des Ponts in S3. S3, S4 are 2 semesters of coursework, the internship. The 5th semester, coursework as well. And then the 6th semester, PFE, Projet de fin d'études, then the 10th semester, and you access the double diplomation. This is a simultaneous diplomation. Now, the application process. Let's go to the practical thing. We have 2 admission boards. The major admission board is in November. So for November 22. The first step is now. It will be the pre-selection. After the pre-selection by Scuola Politecnica, the students will be nominated. The nomination is early September. And at that time, you should prepare your documentation for the application. The transcript, of course, and the criteria we look for are the GPA, the ranking in the class, the professional project. Professional project is a kind of statement of purpose where you explain your future career, why you choose École des Ponts, and why you choose this domain, these studies, because you envisage to work in that domain and in that position. So it is your personal statement. And the letter of recommendation. So you prepare all those documents to apply online. This is a remote platform. You put everything online by the end of September. Mid-October, you're going to have an interview, a 30-minute interview with 2 representatives from École des Ponts. One is the head of the academic department you apply for. and the other is an international relation officer. This is an interview to discuss with you what are your motivation? Why did you choose to study here at École Polytechnica? Why this domain? Which experience you have in student life? Which project also you carried out? For instance, the scientific project you carried out is something that you can explain. Your perspective, why École des Ponts, why this department, which career you envisage, and how you figure out, how you project yourself in your mobility. So it is a face-to-face meeting, I mean face-to-face online, to make sure that you chose the right department, you make the right choice, and to avoid any misunderstanding. So this is very helpful, and I think that it has helped students in their application process also to have this contact with their future academic department head and with the school. The admission board is mid-November. So the criteria for admission, for the final admission, are academic excellence, the clarity of your project, the recommendation letters also, we look carefully too, and the comments from the interview. Through our agreements, we can take maximum 6 students and maximum 4 by department. Then you receive the letter of admission, and much later you have until June, early June, to provide the official certificates in French and in English. The required level in French is A2, except for those who choose the city environment transportation urban planning track, which requires the B1 level. And the TOEIC is 785 at this stage of application. The beginning of the academic year is the last week of August. This year, for instance, it is 22nd of August. It is our first week for international students, and the start of scientific courses, depending on the department, is mid-September. This is for the double degree. And then for students who look for a non-degree exchange at École des Ponts, they can apply to the European Spring Session, which starts in March. So it is the same process, the same documentation, except the language certificate. We do not require language certificates at the final admission stage. We have a quota of 3 students for this format of exchange. Now, some of you have heard of the previous students who could combine 1 semester of coursework and 1 semester of internship. So things have changed due to the change of regulation. So the possibility, the option now is to take 2 semesters of coursework only. I prefer to make it clear now. So this is the organization of the curriculum by Department of Studies. I put the link to access the detailed curriculum and prerequisites by departments. Here I will show a summary of the courses taught in each department, and then if you want to get more information and to go deeper in one of them, you use this link. Oh, sorry. So the first one is Civil and Structural Engineering Department. For this one, the first year is almost the same year for all students, all international students that who opt for this department. The course focuses on mechanics and dynamics applied to soil, fluids, and structures. Thermics, structural engineering, drawing, modeling. This is the first year, 2 semesters, two academic semesters. Then you have the internship between 2 years, long or short internship. And then the next year, the third year for the French student and the second year for two, you have 2 tracks. You have the civil engineer tracks, and you have the research engineer track. Research engineer means that you can access the AMS master, sorry, the multi-scale approaches for material and structure. The MSROE master, mechanical of soil, works and structure in the environment, or the SMCD master, material science for sustainable construction. So you have the option between those two tracks. City environment transportation is organized a bit differently because at the beginning, when you apply, you have to apply to 1 out of 3 tracks. The first track is urban planning, economics, legal, territorial analysis, urban development. The second one is transportation, traffic engineering, territorial analysis. The third one is environment, hydrology, for instance, hydrology to water treatment, air pollution. So you will apply and you will follow this track over the 2 years, of course, with the internship in between. Industrial engineering has a different structure, yet the first semester covers supply chain, operational research, modeling projects. The second semester of the first year provides 2 tracks. The first one is engineering of design and innovation. The second is engineering of operation and optimization. And then the second year you can opt for 3 tracks: data science for industry, innovation and design master, innovation and design, or a master in operational research, or a master energy transition at local scale, or a master in transport and sustainable development. One of those masters I showed you earlier. Yeah. Mechanical engineering and material sciences. First year, 2 tracks, depending on the approach of the pedagogy. The design of industrial system, project-oriented robotic and prototyping. And the other one is modeling, with the emphasis on solving problems. Year 2, you have two tracks, the classical one, and the research track, which is the combination of the classic and the master SMCD or AMMS or DMSE, or the master in energy, decommissioning and waste management. In the applied mathematics and computer science, you have the same program the first year with vision and learning, modeling, and the second year 4 tracks covering year 1 and year 3 in probability and it is an integrated curriculum, 4 tracks covering year 2 and year 3 in vision and learning, modeling, or probability and finance, or optimization. And the last one, in economics and finance, you have 2 tracks in the first year. One is the economics track, the second is the finance track. And the year 3, you have this green and sustainable finance track, if you like, or economics, or infrastructure project finance. Yeah. So this slide is a summary of the organization of the options you can take once you choose a department. So the first thing is to apply for a department, and then depending on your project, you make your learning agreements on those tracks. The other thing is that it is possible to access courses outside your department of studies. There is a flexibility. You apply, you are registered in one department, but you can apply to courses provided by the other department. Okay. This is an example. This is very detailed, so I will not do this exercise for all, don't worry. This is an example of the detail you will access with this link. So this link is for this is for the civil and structural engineering departments. You access the detail of the curriculum with course list, the number of SCTS for the 2 years. And one important thing, you will access the list of the prerequisites. Make sure that you read the list of prerequisites because according to the prerequisites you took in your curriculum, the admission board will say that you will be able to cope with the curriculum at École des Ponts Year 2, or they will recommend sometimes that you take a course which is missing between the time of admission and the time you arrive at the school. But read it carefully because it is very important in your application. I will end with money, budget, tuition and fees. So you are tuition waived through the agreements. Yeah, there are only specific fees for international students, all students, which will be 10,000 euro as from next year, per year, of course. Scholarships. If you are in the top 3% students of your class, the school will present your application to École scholarship. You will also apply for the Fondation des Ponts scholarship if you don't have the École scholarship. The Fondation des Ponts scholarship is over 10 months the first year and 5 months the second year, 650 euros per month. And opportunities also with corporate scholarships. For instance, Meridiam, which is an investment company in infrastructure, provides scholarships to international students. The monthly cost of living in Paris is around 850 euros per month. For the housing, you can count between 400 or the lowest is 250 Paris downtown, but the first year you will be proposed housing on campus, which is more around 400 euro per month. You can apply and you are eligible to the French government's housing allowance between 150 and 200 euros per month. And then according to your standard of living and your level of consumption, you can add the transport. So you have a card for the Greater Paris Access, 40 euros per month. And then, according to the way you live, food, entertainment, and incidental. Okay. One thing is sure is that we always find a financial solution to any students in order to make sure that the budget is not a burden to apply to our double degree. Yeah. So sorry to finish with money and financial part, but this is the end of the general presentation. I put the name of, not mine, but Emmanuel Simantov is the head of international mobility. He's a very important person because he's the one who will be in contact with all across your application process. And at your arrival at school, he recently organized a webinar for all students arriving in September this year. And he is the one who will be in contact for everything. All the useful links as well, links to the school website, the course catalog to have the syllabi, and also the list of the French unions, associations. This is also to prepare your integration in the student life. Okay. Então, muito obrigada. E se você puder fazer perguntas, é bom tempo.
Okay, thank you very much, Marie-Christine Berthe. It was very detailed explanation about the school, the École des Ponts, the opportunities for the students. So now you are you have the opportunity to raise questions, to ask. You may prefer to do it in Portuguese, it's also fine, or in English directly, okay? It's up to you, really. There are other two colleagues, please. Gustavo, come up here. So Gustavo, as I mentioned, is a former student so he came from Escola Politécnica, he did the double degree there, and he is now also so there at the school, and responsible for the cooperation with the private sector, okay? But he will also be able to give you further explanations. And there is also Joseph, which is a colleague that is studying here right now. He came from École de Ponts. He's also doing the double degree, but in the other direction. Okay, so please, I will give the mics to Mariana, who then will give further to you. Okay.
Tem alguém que quer fazer pergunta?
So, good morning. I want to ask about the equivalence between our studying in the first 3 years in Escola Politécnica compared to the first year of École de Ponts that we will enter together with those students. So, what's the difference in, I don't know, disciplines that we will have to overcome when you get there? Because we did 3 years here, and we got together with students that had 1 year in École de Ponts, and we enter in the second year. Thank you.
So the thing is that the students at École des Ponts took 2 years of scientific courses, mathematics, physics, informatics, at preparatory class. And then when they are admitted at École des Ponts with this highly selective process, they take this first year at École des Ponts, which is also a fundamental course year, with much mechanics, mathematics, physics. So this is their basic training. This is the fundamental courses they will have. So you will join the French cohorts at this time. So I understand that you also have the fundamental course, okay, the 2 first year. So basically you have the same scientific education. The thing is that the first year at École des Ponts is perhaps more loaded in mechanics, mathematics, and this is perhaps where you have sometimes to catch up with some of the prerequisites that French students have, and that perhaps you don't have yet. But perhaps the experience of Gustavo will clarify in which specific course you may have difficulties to catch up, because the approach sometimes is not the same, whereas the title of the course is the same.
Fala em português. Mas explicar em português, na verdade vai depender de qual engenharia você está fazendo aqui, o que vai fazer lá. Porque no primeiro ano, na verdade eles já fizeram, né? Os franceses já fizeram 2 anos de classe préparatoire, e o primeiro ano é uma continuação disso. E lembrando que aqui a gente fez 3 anos, né? Você viaja na metade do 4º ano, na verdade. Então você já fez 3 anos e meio antes de ir. E aí você entra lá para fazer os 2 últimos anos do curso de engenharia, que é um curso mais específico, que é quando os franceses também já fizeram a escolha dos departamentos, e aí é um curso mais específico para a sua área. Mas a parte básica é a mesma. Então, tiveram os cursos de cálculo numérico, cálculo, álgebra linear, física, introdução à computação, enfim, todos os cursos básicos que a gente tem aqui também no biênio. E aí você vai entrar lá para fazer os cursos mais específicos, e aí dependendo da engenharia que você for escolher, né? Então, se for na engenharia civil, vai ser estruturas avançadas, dinâmica, médios elementos finitos, coisas do tipo.
A minha dúvida específica para o departamento de engenharia mecânica, que é para o qual eu estou indo agora em agosto, e não sei, a minha pergunta é mais do tipo, historicamente, existe algum tipo de dificuldade que você tem que se preparar para, ou algo do tipo, nesse departamento, ou no caso, para deixar mais rico para todo mundo, para os departamentos em geral, qual costuma ser algum tipo de dificuldade, comentar, para fazer essa adaptação, né?
Uhum.
De Poli e Ponts.
A recomendação que eu daria é, tem dificuldade sim, mas o curso não é fácil, é uma escola bem teórica, uma escola bastante, que vai exigir bastante, uma formação de... Desculpa, tem que falar no microfone. Tá bom. É uma formação bastante teórica e, enfim, uma base bastante matemática, então a recomendação é talvez revisar, vamos dizer assim, os conteúdos matemáticos, mas as listas de pré-requisitos que aparecem, elas são bem extensas e deixam bem claro isso. Agora, uma coisa é verdade, assim que você chega na escola, existe o Jula, remisa nível, vocês sabem. Então, desde que você chega na escola, tem um acompanhamento também para uma adequação rápida, claro, para te readequar, enfim, se tiver alguma dificuldade, tem um acompanhamento específico. Mas a maior dificuldade é a base matemática, porque como a gente, pelo menos da minha experiência e dos meus colegas, o que a gente via é como a gente viaja só no meio do quarto ano, não sei se todo mundo ainda lembra tudo que estudou em álgebra linear. E aí, chegando lá, você precisa aplicar muito disso nos cursos, principalmente na engenharia mecânica, que é para onde você está indo. Então, uma base matemática forte é o que vai ser exigido, vamos dizer assim, para poder encarar os cursos, principalmente na parte de mecânica.
Boa tarde, eu tenho duas dúvidas. A primeira em relação ao processo seletivo. Existe algum exame para conferir, inclusive, um assessment mesmo dos nossos conhecimentos?
Deixa eu só começar pelo seguinte, nos processos seletivos, eles começam aqui na Poli, tá? Vocês vão receber em breve, mas a gente vai abrir esse processo seletivo, as inscrições, agora em meados de julho, e a primeira etapa é uma pré-seleção feita na escola para todas as escolas com as quais a gente tem duplo diploma. Esse é o processo seletivo de duplo diploma, incluindo École de Ponts, né? No final desse processo seletivo, os alunos são indicados para as escolas, e aqueles aqui, vocês que estão interessados, logicamente, em ir para a École de Ponts, tá, terão, então, a continuidade desse processo seletivo com eles, segundo o que a Marie-Christine apresentou. Do lado da Poli, o que é avaliado é o histórico escolar, um plano de estudos que vocês nos apresentam, tá? Um currículo vitae que vocês também nos apresentam e entrevistas que nós, professores, fazemos com todos os alunos que forem selecionados, ou pré-selecionados, tá bem? Daí depois, na continuidade, ela pode talvez detalhar melhor, né, do que são os exames, mas essencialmente aqui no caso, pelo que eu entendo, são entrevistas que vocês fazem com eles.
Ok, muito obrigada. E a segunda pergunta tem a ver com compatibilidade de cursos. Por exemplo, eu faço engenharia mecânica aqui. Não necessariamente eu tenho que escolher o departamento de engenharia mecânica lá. É uma escolha livre?
Não, quer dizer, a ideia desses duplos diplomas é que você faça no duplo diploma lá a mesma carreira principal que você está seguindo aqui na escola, tá? O que não significa que você não tenha, nesse percurso, algumas possibilidades, algumas alternativas complementares. Por exemplo, ela citou lá um departamento de mecânica, de economia, tá? Então, de repente, você pode fazer uma disciplina de economia, mas você não vai fazer o track todo em economia, porque não é aquele que você está fazendo. Mas eu acho que é melhor que eles também falem a respeito. Tá bom?
I will just complete that when I mentioned that you have access to all departments of studies at École des Ponts, it means that whether you're from Chimica or Mechanica, you can access those departments. But of course, it should make sense in your curriculum, and you must be sure that you get the prerequisites of each department.
Muito obrigada.
Uma outra precisão, que acho que é talvez uma coisa interessante, é que você entrando no departamento, por exemplo, de engenharia mecânica, existe a possibilidade de fazer aulas em outros departamentos, dependendo da possibilidade da agenda, né? de como está organizado a grade horária. Mas existe possibilidade de você, mesmo estando em um departamento, escolher módulos específicos em outros departamentos. O pessoal da engenharia mecânica, do departamento de engenharia mecânica, é bem comum isso acontecer na École de Ponts, porque tem lugares onde seria, vamos supor assim, o equivalente às eletivas que a gente tem aqui na Poli, né? E aí é possível fazer formações também em outros departamentos.
Hi, good afternoon. I have two questions relating to some things I saw on the website of École de Ponts. One thing that I didn't understand fully was about the internships, because when I made my research about the school, I understood that we had two internships, one shorter with 3 months and the other with 6 months. So I just wanted to check if this is it, or it could be one of 12 months instead of these two.
Yes, this is a good question. You can take either 2 6 months in France, or 1 year out of France, or 2 times 6 months in France. It's because the French law limits the duration of internship up to 6 months. This is why you cannot do an internship of 12 months in a row. Okay.
And I remember that it has to be, one of them has to be related to our final project, right? Or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
And my other question is related to the programs you mentioned. I saw that there are some programs here that they weren't in the presentation, and I wondered if they are also available for international students.
In the master's program, or you mean this one?
I don't recall exactly the name of it, but I think it's it's a partnership with another university. I think it's an American university, and I saw on the website that it is offered to students, but I don't know if it's international students too.
Uh-huh.
Master of England, Master avec l'Espagne et l'Angleterre.
Those one, maybe, okay. Those are separate masters, so you don't have access to these masters. As international students, you have access to what we call the Athens week. Athens is the capital of Greece, and it is also the name of an international week we run with 14 European universities across Europe. It is in November, so you will be authorized to take 1 week to take courses in Madrid, in Istanbul, in Munich. So this is one possibility. But as an international student, you don't have access to double degrees with other schools. You are supposed to attend the Diplôme d'ingénieur in Paris, in France. Okay? You are not supposed to take a double degree with Columbia, for instance.
Yes, yeah, okay, thank you.
Hi, good morning. In the beginning of presentation, I saw about a program for international students. It's called Fil Français, I think. Could you say more about this program?
Fil français?
Fil Français.
Fil français.
Fil Français is a young company. It's a kind of startup that develops services to international students who are admitted in programs in France. Their role is to support you in your administrative duties, starting from the visa application, then to the application to Social Security, also for subscription to electricity, the transportation, and so on. So you will receive an invitation on their platform in June, July to get registered and then to be offered those services. On campus in September, they organize specific workshops with international students to help you in your all administrative things. Okay? And then they also help you in the renewal of your visa, because you will get a student visa, and once it's about to expire, you have to renew it. Fil Français will also help you in this.
Good afternoon. I have two questions. First, at the École de Ponts, do the departments focus on engineer civil, or are they independent? If they have focus on civil engineer, all the departments, or if they are...
No. The departments are 6 departments, 6 thematic departments. At the end of the presentation, I went into details for the civil and structural engineering department to tell you where are the course list and the prerequisites, but you will find the same documentation for all departments. Okay? It's a lot of information, so I will not put it on the presentation. It was just an example, okay? But civil and structural engineering is a department of studies, which is common to all departments, are now courses in sustainable development, are also the language courses, the social science courses, but I show that each department has its own tracks. This is the content of each department. So you have the content of civil and structural engineering. And as you can see, in industrial engineering, you don't have civil.
I asked this because the name of the school, École de Ponts. Okay.
Yes, but we won't change it. Yes, yes, it is a good question. It is the history, because at that time the kingdom has to equip the countries with bridges and roads. So we kept the historical name because it is our identity. But today we do mathematics and simulation to optimize also all domains of engineering. But we kept our name.
Okay. The second one is there an age limit?
Age limit?
Age limit, no, but we admit students who are currently enrolled at their home university. So
okay. Okay, thank you.
Talvez só uma precisão, para precisar que não é um limite de idade, mas só tem uma janela, né, para você se candidatar, que é no final do seu 3º ano, para ser admitido a partir do meio do 4º ano. Então seria no semestre 5. No semestre 5 daqui, né? É só esse público que vai ser, que é o público que pode candidatar.
Só uma coisinha com relação, quer dizer, ela deu uma apresentação completa, né, a respeito das possibilidades, mas só para ressaltar que no nosso convênio de duplo diploma, o que está coberto do ponto de vista da Poli, né, são as áreas de engenharia civil e ambiental, ou seja, a grande área civil, estruturas, transporte, hidráulica, todas essas coisas, a parte da engenharia mecânica, incluindo produção. Tá? Então, por exemplo, a elétrica não existe a correspondência direta, né? O mesmo engenharia de computação daqui não é exatamente o computer science de lá. Ou aqui, a engenharia química também não tem uma oportunidade equivalente lá. Tá certo? Então, essas são as áreas, os alunos daqui que podem participar. O que não significa que, como já foi dito antes, que se você puder, você pode, quer dizer, se houver oportunidade, você pode, de repente, fazer uma disciplina na área de economia, mas é uma disciplina, não é o curso de economia. Bem?
So I have a question about the internship too. We can choose for 3 months or a year. But like when we choose the 3 month, it's like in the summer, or the other question is when we choose to have the internship during 12 months, we can't study in this time, or we just.
Yes, it is a full-time period, so it is not a period of coursework. You will be full-time as intern. It is not a gap year. I insist on that. A gap year means that there is a gap. It's fully part of your curriculum. So you are registered at school, of course. The internship should be validated by the school. So the topic of the internship is validated to make sure that it is part of your study. It is not any job contract, you know. You have an advisor, an academic advisor, and it is evaluated.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe Joseph can.
Falar da minha experiência.
Yeah.
É simplesmente, tipo, como você falou, tem possibilidade de fazer um pequeno estágio de 3 meses, ou se não 2 estágios, ou se não mais tempo de estágio, 1 ano de estágio. A maioria das pessoas fazem 1 ano de estágio, e a maioria dos brasileiros também, porque traz experiência, etc. E também traz dinheiro, porque está pago. E que mais? Por exemplo, eu fiz esse ano de estágio antes de chegar aqui no Brasil. Fiz meu primeiro estágio em transição digital e meu segundo estágio em obra, em construção. E tipo, acho que a maioria das pessoas na École des Ponts fazem essa escolha, tipo, fazer 2 estágios longos.
E a missão do estágio, você tem uma missão de engenheiro.
Exatamente, tipo você não é o estagiário que vai fazer o café, tipo, você realmente vai ter tarefas do engenheiro. E eu que tinha, todos meus amigos também tinham uma verdadeira tarefa de engenheiro, então é uma boa coisa.
I have 2 questions. The first one it's related to computer engineering. So I would like to know if there are other students who do the double degree program that they are doing computer engineering and apply for the applied maths and computer science department. Is that a possibility?
No, not in this case, due to the fact that the agreement establishes which kind of things are covered in this agreement. And it's not for as I mentioned earlier, it's for civil engineering, including environmental, industrial engineering, and mechanical engineering. But for sure, there are many other opportunities for computer engineers or any other areas of engineering from Poly in many great other French universities, but not this one.
Okay, I understand, but that's specific for Poly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the second question is about how many of the students who are pre-selection by Poly eventually go? In a ballpark, how many of the students that are selected from Poly eventually actually go to École des Ponts?
So we have up to 6 open positions, yeah? And this year, for instance, we have 4 students. Yeah? Last year we have 4 students as well. Yeah? Why is that? I insist on the compatibility of the curriculum. For instance, from the it was from the mechanical engineering department applying to our applied mathematics and computer science, and the curriculum was not coherent for us. Yeah? So why students in the past haven't been accepted? It is first because of the GPA, because the academic excellence criteria with a GPA below 70 is not enough for us. So the GPA And also it is the coherence between your home department and the department you target. So it should be 100% if those two major criteria are met.
Let me just add something. So the idea when we have this selection process, as mentioned, it's for all double degree partners that we have, okay? So we have different analysis, but at the end we have a grade that allow us to rank all students, okay? And then we take the first student, the first option. At some point, the student has not opportunity to take his first option because it's already full, okay? Then it takes the second and so and so. So what we intend to have is, for sure, have at least 6 students that will be nominated to École de Ponts, okay, to follow their process there, but probably a little bit more, but not 20 students because it would be meaningless, okay? So exactly number, we do not have. It depends on the conditions, on the situations, which are the students that are really good to be nominated, and those that perhaps are nominated but do not get the position there would then be considered for their second option later, okay?
Eu vou deixar só bem claro que a gente vai fazer um processo seletivo, tá? A Poli. A gente vai lançar esse processo seletivo por volta na metade de julho, tá? Então, a gente vai mandar um edital para vocês com todas as opções, incluindo o École de Ponts, e a gente faz essa seleção baseada nos critérios deles, por isso que a gente não nomeia tantos alunos para a École de Ponts, a gente seleciona já considerando os critérios deles, tá? Como o professor Márcio falou, você colocou a École de Ponts como primeira opção, a gente vai indicar vocês para lá, mas a gente vai indicar para uma segunda opção também, porque o processo é bastante rigoroso, tá? Então, fica coberto caso vocês possam, de repente, não conseguir a vaga na École de Ponts.
Complementando o que a Mariana disse, né? Nós vamos, bem, então logo seja lançado esse edital, que vai ser agora em meados de julho, tá? Não está definida ainda a data, mas na segunda quinzena de julho a gente vai fazer uma palestra, como a gente sempre faz, para esclarecer o procedimento, tá? Mostrar quais são as escolas. Logicamente, você sempre tem que olhar os editais, e aproveito aqui para também chamar a atenção, sempre olhem os links, como aqui, École de Ponts, tá? Porque ali realmente tem o detalhe do que pode, cada caso, do que é oferecido, né? Tem uma série de informações que aqui, quando a gente tenta conversar, nem sempre, logicamente, a gente consegue cobrir todos os detalhes. Tá bem? Então, mas no caso do edital, ele vai ser lançado agora no meio de julho, nós fazemos uma palestra exatamente com essa mesma proposta aqui, de esclarecer, de discutir, vocês fazem as perguntas, tá? E depois vocês ainda têm até meados de agosto, né, para fazer as inscrições, né? Reflitam bem, vejam quais são as escolas que interessam mais a vocês, né? E a gente vai estar aqui realmente para dar esse suporte, a Mariana, a equipe, né, da CRINT, do Serviço de Relações Internacionais, a Patrícia e a Silvana estavam aqui, o Roger está ali atrás, né? Todos nós trabalhamos aí para tentar ajudá-los, tá bem?
Essa apresentação a gente vai colocar disponível também no site, tá? Na página do processo seletivo. Vocês vão lá na página da Poli, tem uma parte chamada Internacional. No Internacional tem aluno Poli e lá dentro tem a página do processo seletivo que vocês conseguem ver todas as apresentações, inclusive das outras escolas, tá bom?
Eu queria complementar só uma coisinha. Acho que um conselho, na verdade, agora que vocês vão começar a pesquisar qual escola ir, para onde ir, é olhar exatamente quais são os projetos e por que vocês querem ir para cada escola. Acho que isso vai contar muito, tanto no processo da Poli, quanto para a gente, quando a gente for analisar os processos. E procurem os amigos ou conhecidos, enfim, os alunos que já estão lá. Pode me procurar, tá? Mas quem está lá mais recentemente vai saber das informações mais atuais. Como estudante, mas procurem as pessoas que já foram, acho que tem o iPoli que consegue colocar vocês em contato com quem está lá, acho que isso ajuda bastante, é um processo bem interessante para vocês saberem o que é a escola, se a escola tem a ver com vocês ou não, o lugar onde fica a escola, se vale a pena, como é a vida naquele lugar, enfim, porque aí vocês vão se identificar bastante, que acho que o processo de duplo diploma é uma experiência incrível, acho que é a melhor experiência que eu tive até hoje, mas E não é só na parte técnica. É importante ter a parte técnica, mas é importante vocês também terem o fit com o lugar, com a cultura, com o ambiente, com o tipo de escola e com quem está lá. Então, acho que essa coisa de vocês, na informalidade, também buscar esses conselhos é muito importante para essa decisão do duplo diploma e para embasar o projeto pessoal de vocês também, né? Que apesar de ser um projeto acadêmico, é também um projeto pessoal, e morar fora por 2 anos.
Acho que no YouTube do École tem vídeos com depoimentos dos alunos que foram para o exterior, no duplo diploma. Acho que quase todas as escolas, dá uma olhadinha lá, vocês conseguem ter uma ideia de como é, tá bom?
É assim, tipo, concordo totalmente e recomendo muito para vocês fazer um intercâmbio, que seja um intercâmbio na École de Ponts ou em qualquer lugar que vocês puderem. Tipo, acho que a coisa mais importante que você aprende no intercâmbio não é o que você vai aprender na escola. E tipo, olha, você vai chegar num lugar que você não conhece, numa cidade com códigos que você não conhece, com ninguém que você conhece, com uma língua que você não conhece. Então você vai ter que evoluir nesse ambiente. Acho que tipo, você vai aprender muito sobre vocês, de verdade. Acho que isso é o mais interessante do intercâmbio. Tipo, eu não conheço ninguém que fique com repente de ter feito um intercâmbio. Recomendo muito para vocês.
Se é isso, nós gostaríamos de agradecer, viu? Aí
Obrigada, gente. Se quiserem mandar perguntas para crint.pod